I've said it before. Food from the grocery store sucks. It friggin' sucks, man. Like, it's not good. And I want people to know what real food and good food tastes like. So that's where we're moving. That's where we're headed towards, is more and more good food, high quality food for us, for our community. That's where we're going. So number one, plans for 2025. Roll the intro! I'm Ben, and this is Nicole.
Food is medicine.
Since 2020, with no prior experience,
I even managed to kill corn.
we've been trying to grow all of the food for our family.
Look, they came in a fancy box.
But it's proved to be a little harder than we thought.
In 2021, this didn't exist. This was dead.
Join us as we struggle to raise animals, grow veggies
That's okay, because we have no cabbage, so we're not making cabbage soup anyway, so what do we need carrots for?
on this farming and homesteading adventure. Since we started homesteading, we've kind of been flying by the seat of our pants. Like, we have no idea what we're doing. We're just kind of making this up and seeing what feels right, what's fun. Like, the animals we've gotten haven't really been strategic other than like, oh, I want raw milk, so I need to get a goat. Whereas now that we're a few years deep, we're trying to figure out like, okay, where do we want to go with this? What do we want to do? Is it viable? Because let's be honest, this social media thing isn't going to last forever. Like, getting paid on here, it's not helpful to many people. How do I say that? That's not true. Social media isn't entirely, it's not a real job. So we want to have something that's like tangible, that is good for people. Entertaining and education is something, but we want to have something where people can come and visit and actually contribute to our community, like the greater good of our community. And that's what the farm is going to be. That's what we want the farm to be. So that is what we want to focus on moving forward, is we want to figure out how can we grow more food, raise more animals, and feed our community really high quality food, because I've said it before, food from the grocery store sucks. It friggin' sucks, man. Like, it's not good. And I want people to know what real food and good food tastes like. So that's where we're moving. That's where we're headed towards, is more and more good food, high quality food for us, for our community. That's where we're going. So number one, plans for 2025. We want a big garden. We want a bigger garden than we've ever had before. We're moving towards trying to start a market garden. We're trying to figure out how we can grow as much food as possible. I recently interviewed J.M. Fortier in Quebec, and it was an amazing experience to be able to talk about being able to grow so much food and produce so much on a small scale, in a small location.
Farm should be designed, first of all. Like, you can't just organize things. You should have a map and there a drawing of how things go where and why and how. And you should have a really clear idea of where your farm will be in year 5 when you start.
I'm excited to be able to figure more of that out and what needs to be done, because we're still learning and we're still trying to figure this out. And I don't ever want to stop learning. So yeah, it's exciting to be able to be figuring this out and to be able to grow food. Last year, we were so impressed with how much food we were able to grow that, okay, going into 2025 now, we know what we need to do for the most part. So we know that it's possible to grow a shit ton of food. Now we want to 5x, 10x that and figure out, okay, what does our intensive cropping need to be? How do we do that? Okay. And I'll hopefully be able to make more videos on that in the future once I can be outside. Like, this studio is great. It's beautiful. It's cool. But I want to be outside and I want to be sharing what we're doing in the garden. But for now, we're going to talk about my lists. Number 2 is Nicole wants to grow flowers. We've been to a couple of markets now where people have grown and sold like bouquets of beautiful flowers, and she really enjoyed growing her flowers last year. So I think she will really enjoy having flowers around, being able to sell them. We sold some for a wedding last year too. So we already have some flowers that grow around here, brown-eyed Susans and different things. So she wants to plant dahlias. She wants to plant tulips. She wants to try to grow some new flowers this year. And last year she kind of got the taste of that. And now we're going to move forward and try to figure out, okay, how do we do more of that same thing and just beautify the property? It's kind of no secret that the property's been kind of chaos for the past few years. So hopefully we can move forward and not have to worry as much about it being chaos, because it'll be beautified with like sunflowers and stuff. the biggest thing I think for 2025 is we want to actually sell produce. We want to sell stuff and see if we can make farming profitable. One of the biggest things that I see online and people jeering these YouTube and Instagram farmers is that you're not a real farmer because you make most of your money on social media, not actually selling stuff.
A homestead isn't supposed to be for profit. A homestead is to take care of the home and the family first. If you have excess, you sell out of the excess. Farmstead, I look at as this kind of that in between. You know, we do it, but not necessarily to scale. We're taking care of our family first, but the plan is to have excess to sell. But we have this other income that is what we really live on, you know, and I think that would make more sense.
So we want to see using social media as marketing, can we sell? Rather than just making ad dollars through this or affiliates or whatever, or you buying our other stuff. We want to be able to have to sell veg, to sell eggs, to sell whatever. Eggs aren't really profitable. Veg isn't necessarily profitable, but we want to figure out, okay, is it worth our time to be able to, can we make $5,000? Can we make $10,000? Can we make a bunch more? Like, we want to be able to see that and how much we can actually make even in our first year, just selling to our local community. And a step up from that is we want to see if we can start a CSA. We want to start a community box so that it's something that people don't have to come here and like, oh, we want some carrots and we want some beets and I want to be able to have a box that's like, hey, every week or every 2 weeks, we have this ready-made box for you that has X value. We want to be able to set up so that we have our community supporting the farm. So the work that we do here is supported by the people who get to reap the benefits of it. Not just us who are trying to can and preserve and freeze a bunch of stuff, but from the people who actually are in our community and want to partake, want to invest financially, because we have the ability and the knowledge to be able to invest, but we don't financially, we're not really able to invest in developing a farm. And it's not something we really want to sell out to, not that we have the capacity to do that or anybody's asking, but we have no desire to sell out to like investors who want to drop lots of money. It would be nice if somebody wanted to drop lots of money on me, but they don't. Number 4 or 5, I don't remember. We're not really numbering these. We want to make the property more pretty. We want to be able to install fences and beautify our barn, and we want to make this property more appealing so that if it does become an educational farm, something that we're trying to teach people, we'll be able to do that here. More people can come visit and feel comfortable. Like a lot of homesteads, and even here has been, like things are just cobbled together with pallets and very cheap looking materials, but we want to be able to still do it cheaply, but have something that looks a little prettier so that when people come to visit, they feel a little better about it. And that it doesn't feel like you're coming to this rundown, like if you're one of the homesteaders that I'm talking about, I don't mean that it doesn't look good. If it's effective, it frickin' works because it's cheap. But like all these city slickers that want to come spend money at my farm, like, yeah, I need to make it look pretty so it's like the beautiful stuff that people want to come take pictures at. I don't want to make fun of people. I'm trying not to make fun of people, but like, you know who I'm talking about. Those types of individuals who don't ever come to a farm and like don't get dirty fingernails or dirty hands or whatever. It's kind of idyllic. They want to come to a farm to see cute little animals and rather than like an actual production farm. Anyway, you get the idea. This next one is from Nicole. Nicole has this goal and has ever since we started preserving food or growing our own food. She wants to have 1,000 jars in our basement. That is all of our own food, whether it's meat that we've raised or whether it's beans or pickles or whatever. She wants to be able to can 1,000 jars. And I don't even think we have 1,000 jars yet. We'll have to figure out how we can afford more jars, but that's the ultimate goal, is to have 1,000 jars, because that's basically 3 jars a day. Not quite, but roughly 3 jars a day is 1,000 jars. So that's plenty, or should be plenty, to be able to feed our family. So if we can figure that out and figure out how to do that, I think we're in a really good spot with our self-sufficiency journey, your self-reliance journey of knowing how much food we really need. Right now, we've grown and preserved quite a bit. We've even still got a lot in the basement, but I mean, it's January, so we've still got a ways to go. So we'll see how much is left over come springtime once we're starting to dip back into the garden. But then hopefully as summer rolls back around, then, okay, we need to replenish. We need to freeze more, whatever. We need to can more, whatever. Along with that, it would be nice to be able to afford a freeze dryer someday, maybe, but we'll see if that happens. That's not really in the cards currently, so we'll just have to wait on that one for now, because they're like $5,000. They're like $3,000 to $5,000, but still too expensive for our budget for something that is basically a fancy dehydrator. Now, if you're a freeze drying like fanboy, don't come at me. I know it's not true. It's not exactly true that dehydrating is different, and I get it. I'm just mad because I can't afford one. Next, and we really haven't talked about this, but our new property, so like 10 minutes up the road, we have bought 35 acres of just raw land. Like there's a camper on it that really should be burnt to the ground because it's disgusting. For those who haven't seen this property yet, this is the property we bought. It is 35 acres. It's kind of a triangle. The only thing it's got on is this camper, that outhouse, and this woodshed. And the inside of that camper is definitely not livable. It's nasty. It's falling apart. The roof leaks. It's gross. It really needs to be torn down. So what we need to do is we need to clear some trees. Imagine this cleared a little bit, so that we can make some pasture, some gardens, so that we can actually have somewhere to build a house. Now that's going to take some time, effort, and finances that we don't currently have. So it's going to take a couple years to get there, but we're excited to be able to build into the future. And for now, this is what we're working with. We need to clear some of that land to be able to put houses on. We need to clear some of that land to make pasture, which is all just going to take work. We need to fence it off. We need to hire contractors. So we're trying to get quotes for different things. We're trying to figure out, okay, what's it going to take to invest in that? When Nicole and I originally put down, when we decided to buy this property, we knew that this wasn't going to be like, this is happening now. We're going to have a ready-made homestead on this property. We understood that because we're doing it in sections, because mortgages are hard to get for one reason or another for us, and we don't want to have a ton of debt. We want to do it sort of incrementally so we don't have debt. So being able to do that slowly, we want to, okay, $20,000 at a time. We'll put it down, pay it off, put it down, pay it off. We haven't paid off the property yet, how much we put down on it. So we need to be able to pay that off and then be able to clear it and put a foundation and all that stuff. So it's just, we know it's going to take a long time, and we know we need friends' help, and so we're still trying to figure all that out. This is all sort of speculative for 2025, but I hope you get the idea. And continuing with the thought of making money and being profitable, something that Nicole and Nicole's mom have been dreaming of for the past few years, and we've really been discussing intensely over the last little while, is starting a micro bakery. Something we don't have in the area is really anybody to sell quality sourdough. Nicole and her mom make the best sourdough cinnamon rolls, the best sourdough dough. We even sell our starter on our website. And so we want to be able to sell that stuff because I think people want it. They want the good probiotics from that stuff. And so that's the goal, is to figure that out. We've seen some really cool designs of like campers and stuff to make that happen. So we're going to figure out what we need to make public health happy so that we can tick all the boxes to say, okay, we've got our hand washing station, we've got this, we've got that. What do we need to do to make it legal for us to be able to grow, or not grow, I'm thinking of growing food, to be able to start a micro bakery in like our camper, say? Can we do that? Is that possible? I think so. I hope so. So I want to be able to empower them to do that. It'll be a little bit of investment. We've got the camper from our summer tour, but I'm hopeful to be able to make that happen. So that's like pretty much it. Like it seems like not a lot. Like it's not a huge list, but we have big dreams. We have big thoughts. We have big plans that we want to make happen. And so that's what we're trying to do, is to figure out all of this, to figure out where we belong, how we can continue to move forward, how we can continue to pay our bills, basically, and continue to do what we love. We want to educate people. We want to entertain people, because that's one of my favorite things, to make people laugh, to make people smile. So I'm hoping that as we get into this season, there'll be more and more to talk about, more and more fun things, chaos that I can get into. But That as it stands is the plans. That rhymed and it shouldn't have. That as it stands is the plan. Plans, plural, multiple plans for 2025.
We're just planning our plan of attack to cut into the woods here.